Hello everyone, Brian from FisherFAST here, coming to you on this extremely hot 95-degree summer day here in Pennsylvania. This video might be a little more brief than usual just due to the heat and the fact that I still have to take some pictures of the car too. So I'm trying to get out of the sun as quick as possible here. But I just want to go over this beautiful vehicle. We'll do a quick walk around on the inside, outside, put the top up and down, and show you under the hood as well. I also want to talk about some of the more notable options this vehicle has, how it compares to other SLs in this generation, being the 55 and 63, 65. And then also talk about some of the recent maintenance that has been done on the car. So I think the first thing I'll do is just tell you this is a 2009 Mercedes Benz SL63 AMG. It has covered exactly 51,000 original miles. It does have a clean Carfax and title. There has been no accident history on either. The title is in hand. There is no lien or loan against the vehicle. I'm going to pull you over here now to the printout with the options that I got. Excuse if the paper blows around a little bit. It's pretty windy as well. I highlighted some of the more notable options or deviate from the standard car a little bit so you can see what you're getting here. So it does have the Parktronic system, which beeps whenever you get close to walls, being in the front and rear car when you're parking. The increased speed limit is 186 miles an hour for the P030 Performance package. It does have the AMG Performance steering wheel, which is thicker in diameter and smaller as well. The air scarf system, so it blows warm air on the back of your neck, which I love. There is the limited slip differential that comes with the P030 Performance package, the lower and tighter suspension, Sirius satellite radio, the forged 19-inch wheels that come with the Performance package. Keyless go, you just keep the key in your pocket. You can open the doors or start the car with the start stop button on the gear shifter. It does have the carbon fiber high gloss interior trim pieces, the AMG Performance package, which consists of a bunch of those other options that I just mentioned. And if you are buying one of these cars, whether or not you buy my particular vehicle or not, I highly recommend you find one that does have the 030 Performance package, because I have driven both and there is a very big difference in driving quality between the two. Here is the maintenance history dating back to 7 years ago and roughly 17,000 miles what has been done on the car prior to me receiving it, and then I'll explain what I have done to it as well. So just 17,000 miles ago, the engine and transmission mounts were replaced. The suspension had a little bit of work with one of the pulsation dampeners that were replaced. Transmission service was completed. It included the fluid and filter at 43,000 miles or 519. For the brand new TPMS sensors installed 5,000 miles ago. And then here is the list that I did whenever I got the vehicle, just to bring everything back up to date to where I felt comfortable that somebody could jump in and drive this vehicle cross country should they desire. I believe if you were to take this list to a dealership and say I want all of this stuff done, they could easily charge you in excess of $10,000, $12,000. So what you're getting for the money with this one, I feel was a really good value, and you're going to be getting a very sound mechanical vehicle here. So it does have, like I mentioned, 4 brand new Continental ExtremeContact Sport 02 Max Performance summer tires. And I specifically chose this tire over the Michelin Pilot 4S just because this tire rates better in some of the independent testing that I've read and watched. Has a full brake job, front and rear, consisting of pads, rotors, and fluid. So you can see the giant 2-piece rotors on this are brand new. They have 0 miles. I haven't even driven this car after I've done all this work yet. All 4 engine camshaft adjusters have been rebuilt with new hardened plates. That is a weak point for the M156 engine, so you don't have to worry about ever having that expensive repair done. engine valve cover gaskets, differential fluid change in the rear, spark plugs, engine air filters, cabin filter. The radio LCD head unit was replaced. It was starting to peel and fade a little bit, so there's a brand new one in there. Had a suspension service, which included the ABC fluid and filter flush. All of the accessory pulleys on the front side of the engine had been replaced. There's also some new floor mats in there, hood and trunk struts replaced. Another cosmetic option being the two trim pieces on the back of the rear window, which always fade, chip and peel over time and look pretty cruddy. I replace those with OEM pieces as well. I'll show those to you in a little bit. I left this vehicle pretty much in its stock form, and I'll explain why. If you were to ask me what my favorite kind of SL was in the R230 platform or generation, I'd say this with a caveat. The SL63 from 09 to 11, if you leave it stock or you mildly, quote unquote, mildly modify it, and I'm just talking about either cosmetic or you're just doing an exhaust, a mild exhaust, or a tune, or in a combination of those two, this is the best overall package, I believe, right out of the box without doing much to it. The looks of this car on the front end and the rear end, I do personally like better than the 55 cars. It's just more aggressive and has a more modern look. It's not quite as rounded, and this is all subjective. Obviously, I've had a ton of both of them, but this car just ages a little bit better. I think it doesn't look quite as old as the 55s, and it's stock configuration. The headlights are already nice and aggressive. They are black. They're tinted out inside from the factory. The exhaust sounds good for being stock. It could sound much better with just some mild exhaust work. Either just doing a resonator delete, second cat delete, and doing a double H pipe or a single X pipe. Or if you wanted to go crazy and do a set of headers on this car with a tune, you're going to pick up, I believe, somewhere around 45, 50 wheel horsepower. But the only problem with that is the headers. There's only one company in the game that makes exhaust headers for this car, and they're rather expensive at over 4K per set. I think it's 3,500 or 4K, and you have to wait about a month or two to get them. So it's not realistic for most people. But just doing that mild exhaust work is really going to wake this thing up and give you a lot more volume and tone. And if you were talking about getting a car and you want to modify it and do a ton of engine mods and that type of work, then the 55 is definitely 100% my favorite. I'm not a fan of the 65 V12 twin turbo in this platform. Feels too heavy. The turbos are laggy. It doesn't sound good. If you want to modify one of these, 55 is the way to go. If you want to keep it mostly stock, like I said, with some couple mild exhaust tweaks, wheels, tires, something like that, 63 is the way to go. That being said, I left it 95% stock. The only thing that I did whenever I was doing the brake job, I took the calipers off of the vehicle, completely disassembled those, and had them sent off to powder coat. So this is a thick gloss red, very bright red powder coat. The logos or AMG decals are underneath of a clear coat, so you don't have to worry about these ever chipping, coming off, peeling. These are going to look just as good for basically the life of the car. They're better than factory, this powder coat finish on these, and it's always going to look great. And that was well worth it on a black car with the shiny polished wheels. They really pop out in the sunlight. So like I said, it's very hot out here today. Excuse me for being brief. I'm just going to walk around the vehicle a couple times and show you the exterior, and then we'll move along with the kind of tour of the vehicle here now that I've wasted 10 minutes. Bear with me here. the DOT code for this tire. So that would be the 44th week of 2023 for production date. Here are these trim panels that I replaced that I was talking about always peeling and looking bad. So they're brand new. Here's the button for the air scarf, which does blow warm air on the back of your neck. Heated and cooled leather seats. come with the complete manual set. As mentioned, brand new OEM floor mats. Unfortunately, the AMG specific floor mats that have an AMG stamp here are no longer made or not in production, so I have to just get the Mercedes mats. The leather on these seats is in fantastic condition. As you can tell, there's hardly any wear, no rips, no tears, no smells, nothing. Obviously, I did fully detail this car on the exterior and interior, as you can tell. Took a lot of time to prep it. Get it started up and let you hear the engine. Here's the engine start-stop button. So as long as you have the key in your pocket, just push this button with the foot on the brake. That big 6.2 liter V8 roars to life. There's 51,000 miles right on the door. See, this screen is brand new, so there's no peeling, chips, or any kind of wear to it at all. Looks perfect. This is your kind of drive select buttons. You have Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, Full Manual, and Race Start, which is launch control. I like to drive basically in just the standard Sport for daily driving. Sport Plus is actually pretty aggressive in this vehicle. I would only use that when you're doing some seriously spirited driving, as the transmission does hold the gear very long, and it's very nice when you're doing that kind of activity. You can program this AMG button to do exactly how you want it for everything to be set up, suspension and steering wise. This is for the suspension, which I'll show in a moment. This is to turn your Parktronic on or off. There's all your climate controls. Let's go ahead and pop the hood. To raise and lower the top, just pull this clamshell style button back towards the rear of the vehicle and hold it in. All the windows go down. just like magic, you go from a hardtop to a convertible. I think it's worth taking a look at the exterior once again with the top down. This is a thing of beauty. I love the way that these headrests look from the rear of the car with the two fans in them. Pretty cool. Take a look at the suspension height. I can get maybe 2 fingers in the wheel well here at the standard height. So to raise the vehicle up, you just hit this button once or twice depending on how high you want it to go. I'll do twice. And now I can get a full 4 or more plus fingers in between the wheel and the fender liner. If you're going over any kind of large speed bumps, pulling out of any driveways that are very low, you just raise this up. You can raise it back down, lower it back down. Throw it in the Sport Plus, why not? Show you the trunk space with the top down. This is always interesting. It does have a fully power automatic raise and lower trunk, which the older generations, or the older SLs actually did not have. I'm pretty sure it's not even a standard feature on the new R231 cars. So I've seen some videos replacing the trunk struts, and they don't have the automatic hydraulic portion that raises and lowers the trunk lid, which is kind of strange being a newer car, but it's a very nice feature. It's just a heavy trunk lid. So with the top down, you actually do still have a lot of room in there, in my opinion, for what kind of car it is and what it's designed to do. I mean, you got a ton of room whenever this, if you leave this shut like this. When the top is down, this does need to be closed as partition as such. Anything you can fit under here is fair game. There's the factory spare tire, the brand new accessory battery, AGM. It does have a tender wire already built into it, so you can hook that up when you're not using the vehicle for extended periods of time, as that accessory battery drains pretty quick on almost every SL that I've ever had. So keeping this hooked up if it's not going to be driven for a couple weeks is a good idea. And to shut the trunk, just hit that button. It even has the pieces are always missing, and these flaps always come off on these cars. Could be a costly replacement, but these ones are still intact. They're not loose. Those are very nice. Now we'll throw the top back up. So it's just the raise and lower the roll bar too. This is pretty neat. So you just want to hold this button in. If you're driving on the highway, now you have this windscreen behind me. Hopefully I'm pointing at it. It really does cut down on the wind buffeting inside of the car, make it a little bit nicer to drive at high speeds when you have the top down. To lower that, you can just push the button to bring it down. It goes down. To close the top, you just push the opposite way towards the front of the vehicle. Now we're all closed up. So I think that's going to wrap up this vehicle. I think it speaks for itself with the maintenance history, options, and condition of the vehicle in general. If you would like to purchase this vehicle or you have any additional questions for me, please do email me at FisherFAST, spelled FisherFast, @hotmail.com to discuss. I may end up putting this on Bring a Trailer for an auction style sale on this car, or I may try to just sell it outright for a few weeks and see what happens. Either way, at the time of this video posting, it can be bought prior to that if you want to save on auction fees. If you do have any interest in this, this would be the best way to pick it up prior to going to that phase. So hey, I appreciate you sticking with me for what feels like at least 25 minutes. If you stuck with me, like I said, I do appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and reach out to me if you're interested in this. Thanks again.